So this way I'm relaxed. Welcome back to Community Connections. I am your host, once again, Norma Guerrero, and you're listening to us on Facebook Live on Community Connections with Norma G. You can watch the show there as well as listen to it later and watch it on replay. You are also listening to us on 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, as well as on the iHeart app at 1470 AM WNN. You can find us there as well. And so you can also find us, I didn't mention before, on AMP2 TV Productions on Periscope, as well as on YouTube as well. I always like to mention that I have a website that if you want to find out about how to be a guest on the show, you can go to ccnormag@gmail.com. You can email me at ccnormag@gmail.com, ccnormag@gmail.com, or ccnormag.com. So a lot of CC stands for Community Connections. So I want to go ahead and introduce our next guest. Her name is Sara Finkelstein, and she has been, is that Stein or Steen?
Finkelstein.
Finkelstein. I am saying it correctly. And Sara was on here. Wow, what a beautiful, you look beautiful in red.
Thank
That
you.
looks great. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
And yes, absolutely. And do you have a specialty dish that you do?
I do something, it's a side dish, basically. Spinach and mushroom squares.
Oh, spinach and mushroom
made it
squares.
many, many times. Everybody loves it.
All right. Well, good. I do the sweet potatoes.
Okay, great.
And so with the marshmallows and stuff, a little less marshmallows as we get older. The kids get the left side, the adults get the right
Yes.
side. So that's what we do. So good. Wonderful. Well, like I said, she was on the show once before representing my Medicare supplements for you. I was introduced to you through Sergio Rodriguez over at Whitehall Boca Raton, which is one of our sponsors of the show, the skilled nursing and rehab facility that's located in West Boca on Palmetto and Powerline, and you can reach them at 561-392-3000. And they offer physical therapy, occupational, and skilled nursing. And you, as a Medicare specialist, you also, when you engage with those folks, you also begin to speak about retirement planning and income planning, I imagine.
Absolutely. First, I want to say I'm so happy to be back on the show.
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity. I love sharing information
Yes.
with the audience.
Likewise. And so, we're going to be talking a little bit more as how we have continued to develop this show, regarding when your husband comes back on the third segment, talking about Toastmasters and how you introduced me to that. But we'll talk about that in the last minute. So in the meantime, what is it that when you meet people when they're 65, and you start to educate that, how does the conversation transition into that? People are more like, oh, what am I going to do? I have my personal insurance. Now I go into Medicare. And so once that gets resolved, now what are we talking about, this retirement and income planning?
Yes, absolutely, because baby boomers have a lot of important decisions to make. It's not just about what Medicare plan is best for me, but also when we retire, we need income to replace our paycheck. So we need guaranteed lifetime income so that we don't run out of money. Mm-hmm. Because Americans' number one fear is running out of money before running out of life. So at Toastmasters, most people show up because they're afraid of public speaking. And some people say that is everybody's greatest fear. But beyond that, deeper than that, is people are really afraid of running out of money.
Yes.
People are living longer than ever before. So it makes sense that we're afraid of running out of money, because in the 1960s, life expectancy, the turn of the 20th century, life expectancy was only 47. And in
47?
Yeah.
When?
1900.
Oh, then my life would be over today. My life would be over today then.
Yeah.
I just turned 47.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
But in 1960, there were only 4,000 people in the United States over the age of 100. And in the year 2000, there were 40,000 people over the age of 100. And it's projected by 2020, just a few years, that there will be about 300,000 people age 100 and older.
Yes, so those are the statistics. So, when, I understand that, we should start planning for our futures, when you get your first job out of college,
Exactly.
or whatever, the scenario is, always save, as much as you can. But if you're meeting someone at 65, these are people that may have prepared? Like, look, so how are you,
Right. Exactly. Most people by 65 have definitely started preparing. But even those people that are retired, maybe they're in their 70s, they still need a little bit of help with their income planning.
and for example, like what?
Like guaranteed lifetime income strategies. Social Security provides guaranteed lifetime income. And an annuity, Social Security is really very much like an annuity. An annuity is when you give your money to an insurance company and they promise you X number of dollars every year for the rest of your life. So everybody needs to have guaranteed lifetime income. And in retirement, income is more important than anything else.
And so the Social Security may not be enough.
Correct.
And so that's where you would invest in an annuity?
Yes. That's one of the options.
What is an annuity exactly? Repeat it again?
An annuity is a contract between you and an insurance company where you hand them over a certain dollar amount and they promise you income for the rest of your life. So X number of dollars every year for as long as you live. So we know people are living longer than ever. We need to make sure that we don't run out of money before we run out of life.
And how much should people be saving for retirement?
Generally speaking, we should be putting aside 10% of our money, of our income. If you could do 15%, even better.
And now you're saying at what age are you speaking to?
Any age.
Any age.
Any age.
Any age.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So
a lot of people are delaying retirement.
Okay.
So some people will turn on their Medicare at age 65, but they'll delay collecting Social Security because where else can you get 8% on your money? So for every year that you delay collecting Social Security up to the age of 70, you get an extra 8%.
So your check will be bigger from 70 on than if you begin to start to take it at 65.
Correct. Or some people take it at 62, and that's even more reduced.
Even more reduced. Interesting.
Yeah.
And so are people still saving after 65?
Some do.
If they're still working?
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're still working?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Very interesting.
Yeah. And I gave a presentation last week where I talked about two different couples, the Hatfields and the McCoys. And this is very interesting.
Okay.
So they're both 65 at retirement, and they both have about $500,000 in their retirement portfolio. They both take out the same amount of money, 4% per year, adjusted for inflation. And they both have the same average return on their portfolio, which is 9%. And what happens is that the Hatfields end up running out of money at the age of 89, whereas the McCoys at the age of 95 still have well over $2.6 million. Now you say, how could that possibly be? They have the same age, the same amount of money, they're taking out the same amount, and they have the same average return. Well, we know that the market gives returns and the market takes. So the market goes up and the market goes down. But the difference is that the negative years, the Hatfields had the negative years in the beginning of their retirement. So they had those.
What do you mean by negative years?
The market has negative years.
Okay.
So there are losses. So they had their negative years in the beginning of their retirement, whereas the McCoys had their losses at the end of their retirement. And that makes a huge difference. So the underlying moral there is when we get ready to retire, we can't afford to lose our money.
Sure.
Because we could run out of money, and we don't want that. So
but if it's in the market, how do you protect it?
you have to make sure that not all of your money is in the market where it could be subjected to losses. You have to take a piece of the pie and make sure that that is guaranteed and safe from market
And that's
losses.
why sometimes people get the annuities, because you can protect it in that respect.
Correct. And there's different types of annuities. A variable annuity is just like putting your money in the market where it goes up and it goes down. But the annuities that I work with and that clients want to be secure are fixed guaranteed annuities.
Well, because they don't want to, they can't deal with the risk.
They can't afford it.
They can't afford it, yeah.
Exactly, because At 65 or 70, we just can't go back to work for another 40 years.
No. And my mother doesn't even want to cook this Thursday. You know what I mean? Let alone work. She goes, oh, no, I'm bringing fruit and vegetables.
That's
platters.
easy.
Get platters. She's like, I'm done with that. So
Exactly.
you know, she's 76. And so, but she cooked for us for a very long time.
Right.
And, you know, you have to, you know, she has expressed those and she has put her, I believe, her monies in some fixed things to secure herself for the future. So even though we'll take care of her, but you know, she wanted to take care of herself. You know, it's also being responsible with your money.
Exactly.
I think that's a key point to money in general.
Well, the
is being
interesting
responsible
thing
with
is
it.
that when the market goes up, we all want to take advantage of it. We all want our money to grow. But when the market goes down, it's when we change our mind and we want to have safety and guarantees. And it's really important. I wrote an article several years ago, which was in the Palm Beach Post, and it talked about the safe money formula. There is a formula based on your age as to how much of your money you should have in the market and how much you should have safe and guaranteed. And the older we get, the less money we can afford to have in the market subjected to losses.
Well, it's a very interesting statistic. The word that I don't hear that often, but used to be a way of how employers took care of their employees was through pensions.
Exactly.
And is that just does that still exist a lot? I know it does with firefighters, police officers. They get pensions
And they're
those
very
types of
lucky
things.
to have those
and,
pensions.
And government employees.
Right. Well, corporations used to have pension plans where they guaranteed a certain dollar amount for you every single year in your retirement. And that was very expensive for them, which is why a lot of companies replaced those defined benefit plans with 401k plans. And basically, the employee is on the line. The employee is taking the risk on those plans.
The employee is
On the
taking.
401k plan, the employee takes the risk. So depending upon the market performance of their 401k, you may do great, and it may have some not so great years.
Right. Well, then you can put some of your money in the 401k and some of it not. But the benefits of what they say with the 401k is it is a tax deferral on your paycheck, and as well as what was the other thing?
I know I've been taught over the years that when you retire, you'll be in a lower tax bracket. That's what we were taught. You'll be in a lower tax bracket, so therefore you'll be paying, because the 401k money, all of your IRA money, is tax deferred. So at some point you will be paying taxes on the whole pot. So we've been taught that it's going to, taxes are going to be lower, but that's not really, I don't believe so, because of our national deficit, because of cutbacks to entitlement programs. I think that taxes will be much, much higher than they are. So is it really wise to have a plan that keeps growing and growing and growing, where all of that money becomes taxable income in retirement?
And so what without getting too personal, what personal strategies are you using for yourself?
I use,
as an independent, employee of your businesses.
I use life insurance, because life insurance the cash value in that policy grows, and I can access that money in retirement. That's going to be tax-free income. I also use annuities and Roth IRAs, because a Roth IRA, you're paying the taxes up front, the money grows, and then you don't pay any taxes when you take the money out.
And you're allowed to put X amount of dollars in that per year,
Yes.
correct?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm familiar with that,
Yeah.
versus the regular, the traditional IRA.
Yeah, when the traditional IRAs came out, I remember I was living in New York City. I mean, not living, working in New York City, living in New York. And at that time, when they first were offered, you could put $2,000 a year
Right.
into the IRA.
It's up now, higher.
It's up.
I think
It's
it's like
about $5,000.
I think so. And then there's if you're a certain age, you can put in.
Correct. If you're over
they call
the
it
age.
catch-up.
Catch-up provision.
Not
Exactly.
the condiment, but
Yes.
the catch up.
You can put extra money in,
Yes.
$1,000 extra per year.
Interesting.
For that.
So life insurance is for, it's when I think of life insurance, I'm thinking that in the event of your death,
Exactly.
you
That's
know,
what most people
that it goes
think.
to the spouse or children.
Right.
So how is life insurance for your
there's-
retirement?
There's different types of life insurance. There's a temporary life insurance, which is good for a certain amount of time, 10 years, 20 years, maybe even 30 years. When that term is up, it's done. There's no more coverage. But the kind that I'm talking about is a permanent plan. So it does not expire. It lasts as long as you do. So we can put money into that, the cash value grows in there, and at some point, the longer we leave that money in there to grow, the greater the money is that we'll be able to access without having to pay taxes. So business owners like to do that.
Have life insurance.
Have life insurance.
Because it's their kind of version of their own 401.
It's kind of like their own pension plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that money grows and they can access it. And so they don't have to die for somebody to benefit from it. It also provides long-term care benefits if they need it, as well as a terminal illness benefits, and also the cash value, which can be used to supplement their retirement income. So,
Interesting.
years ago, it was interesting, years ago, the foundation of any financial plan included life insurance. And for the most part, we've gotten away from that. Most financial plans are primarily about investments. So we don't have that solid foundation anymore in the financial plans.
Most financial plans are primarily about investments.
Investments.
Investments in the market?
Yeah.
And so you help people navigate that as well?
I am not securities licensed.
Okay.
I gave up my securities license when the market crashed back in 2008, 2009. I decided that I wanted to focus strictly on safe, guaranteed vehicles because everybody, regardless of age, whether you're 20 or you're 80, you need to have some money that is guaranteed to be safe.
Yes. You know, and I mentioned it last week when we were speaking with Michael Geringer, and he was talking about financial planning as well, that that when these folks that I'm treating at the rehab facilities, that are 70, 80, and 90 years old, and they have major adjustments to their life, and this is when they're especially tapping into the decisions they made when they were 45, 55, 65, as far as how do I pay for a caregiver, how do I pay for 24-hour care, or maybe a facility if I have to transition to an assisted living or a skilled nursing facility. And so, this is a very important subject. And I love the fact that for everybody to understand A, B, C, and D with Medicare, it is complex for the first time you hear it. And then to even understand the variations within it between straight up Medicare or
Original Medicare versus
HMO and PPOs and all
Right.
those plans. And so a lot of acronyms and stuff like that. But when you have someone like Sarah who has the knowledge of Medicare, that's kind of done the homework for you a little bit and can help you make the decision that's best for you. How do we find you, Sarah, if someone wants to reach out to you?
My phone number is 561-302-5760. And you can also visit me online at www.mymedicaresupplements4you.com.
Excellent, excellent. So, Sarah, thanks to you once again.
you. Thank
as
you so
well
much.
as, again, as I mentioned to your husband, who we're going to bring back on. And so just to transition into the next, segment of the show, because I'm calling it the Finkelstein Hour. So, is that, he has, your husband has, this background with the Mobile Portrait Pros, as well as, I believe, some sort of financial
Yes.
something that I guess that's another show we have to do, Paul. I'm not sure how active he is with that exactly in his business, but you have this. But you guys, call it a business or call it a hobby, a passion, an interest that the two of you are involved in this Toastmasters International, which is this. I'll go ahead and I think I wrote it down. Toastmasters International is a nonprofit educational organization that teaches public speaking and leadership skills throughout worldwide networks of clubs. And you are the one that introduced me to the club, and that's how I ended up getting introduced to Paul, your husband. And so I never really specifically asked you on the air, how did you get introduced to, was it solely through your husband, or he did it first, and you kind of said, well, if I want to spend any time with him, I got to go join this club. How did that all work out?
Actually, what happened was I was networking, and I met this gal, and we met for a cup of coffee, and she was a Toastmaster, and I was just very impressed as to how she kept the conversation going. And we started talking about Toastmasters, and I came home, and I told Paul, I said, you know what? I think we need to join Toastmasters. And Paul and I have both been members of the club, our club, which is West Boca Toastmasters, for a little over 3 years. And I've got to tell you, it is just so wonderful to see people come in, and everybody's at a different stage. Everybody improves. Some people are so nervous that they're shaking.
Yes.
And other people are somewhat comfortable. But the bottom line is, regardless of what your starting point is, you will improve. No matter what, you will improve. And that is the beauty of it all.
And yeah, great. Thank you so much for sharing that story, because I, as I have followed a little bit of your guys' weekends, that you guys have done some stuff in Miami recently, and now where were you this past weekend?
Palm Beach Gardens.
In Palm Beach Gardens. And so I'm going to have Paul come back on and share about this conference and this contest, this big event that happened over the weekend. And you see the professionals, you see the joy in their faces, that they're networking and connecting, but you're developing your interpersonal skills, socially, professionally, your salesmanship, you'll be able to sell and communicate your message of whatever business that you have. So I am a strong proponent of it, especially with this platform here as well. People have, maybe some of it is natural to me, which is why people have said you do well with the show because you're a good communicator. But certainly public speaking is a little bit of a different breed. But you guys break down the art of a speech, the art of a paragraph, and the art of delivery. And that's what people want to get across, and maybe the art of closing as well, which is important. So we'll be right back in a few minutes with Paul Finkelstein to talk about, pretty much pick up where we left off here with Sara, about their amazing weekend that they had just now with Toastmasters.
You want to save time and not be in front of the computer, the dark room of the new photo generation. Let Mobile Portrait Pros come to you, offering business portraits, executive portraits, mobile headshots, actor headshots, and campaign headshots for political teams. Innovation at Mobile Portrait Pros serves Palm Beach County and beyond. Just call 866-443-0873. That's 866-443-0873. Headshots door to door.
Could you be winning by not losing? Do you know that there are safe money strategies that can benefit you when the market goes up, yet protect you when the market goes down? Hi, my name is Sara Finkelstein. Do you know that there are safe money strategies that can benefit you how you can have safety and opportunity on the same dollar when the market goes down? Hi, my name is Sara Finkelstein with Signature Advisory Group. I'll show you how you can have safety and opportunity on the same dollar at the same time. You know, most people know where to find safety. That's bank CDs. And most people know where to find opportunity. That's the stock market. But did you know that you can have both without putting your money at risk? I urge you to commit to your financial future. Make an appointment with me for a free consultation and get the life that you deserve.